we'll just pick on Facebook just because it's easy. From their perspective, they want you to stay on the site. But it turns out that the stuff that gets you to stay the longest is the stuff that's the most extreme. So you got this kind of law and unintended consequences, which maybe Facebook wasn't specifically trying to push people to the extremes, but it's the extreme stuff that gets people to click, which is what their objective is. And then you get this other really horrible effect, which is we so quickly normalize things so that we can move on and bucket them. And so the only way to keep the clicks going is to make the stuff more and more and more extreme. So in this pursuit of clicks to sell a few more ads, this law of unintended consequences has in fact pushed division. I think it's really scary. And the final piece to throw out is, there's kind of biology speed, which is pretty damn slow. There's kind of people as a civilization speed, which has been a little bit faster. And now we've got this exponential curves in the technology side, which we're just not very well equipped.
So to start with, I think that we can even go a step more backward and say, people don't like to pay for services with money. So we pay with time. Like you can imagine a universe and we would say, you know what? Facebook is so wonderful. I'll pay $10 a month for this. By the amount of time people spend on Facebook, it should be easy to justify 3 cups of coffee. But we are reluctant. We're happy to pay for coffee. We're not that happy to pay for services. So a lot of these technologies were left like, how do we provide this technology? Where people on one hand are saying they want to spend a lot of time, on the other hand are not willing to pay. So the advertising model came. That's kind of the beginning of the unintended consequences, right? The world would have been a very different world if we paid for it. And then of course what happened is that once you pay with your time, they're incentivized. Like you can imagine a world in which we paid for Facebook. They will not be incentivized. They would be incentivized to keep us for longer, months, years, but not per day, right? They would say that's not in their best interest. But in this case, it's in their best interest to get us to be there for longer. And what are the things that get them to be the longer? It's the things that are provocative and the things that are less likely to be true, that are more puzzling, more sensationalist and so on. And not only that, they're not just producing information, they're allowing people to produce information. So now there's a competition. There's a market for people to produce this thing. And now everybody's competing in this pool of lots of people who are trying to create a signal. And now, whoever is the noisiest can create one.